Hi Rebels, I'm Avery, and today I'm talking with an amazing writer and children's book author, Kate DiCamillo. Hi Kate, welcome to the show. I'd love if you could start by introducing yourself to the audience.
My name is Kate DiCamillo, and I get to write books for kids for a living, so I think I'm the luckiest person in the world.
You've talked a lot about how you channel your 8-year-old self when you're writing for your characters. What do you remember most about being that age yourself?
My mother used to drive a bunch of us neighborhood kids to the library. I was in my bare feet, and that's what I think of when I think of myself as 8 years old, a barefoot child in the library getting to select a book.
That's really sweet. And during that time, what was a book that really mattered to you?
I read everything I could get my hands on. One of them was Harriet the Spy by Louise Fitzhugh, which is basically a primer on how to be a writer. I loved Stuart Little, the story of a mouse who kind of acts like a human. That really captured my imagination. I loved Paddington the Bear. There were so many books that mattered to me in so many different ways.
It sounds like you were a pretty big reader your whole childhood, but at what point did you know that you wanted to pursue a career yourself in storytelling?
So it wasn't until I was in college that I started to really think that I wanted to do it, and that was because a professor said to me that I should consider going to graduate school for writing, and that's when I really latched on to the idea.
What helped you finally stop dreaming about it and start doing it?
I used to run 2 miles every day. I never had any dreams of being a professional runner, but yet I could make myself go and run 2 miles. And I thought, okay, I want to be a writer. I'll make myself write 2 pages a day. And so that's kind of where I started. And it's basically still the way I work.
Speaking of staying committed, you faced a lot of rejection early in your career, and you've shared a lot about that. And what motivated you to keep writing through all of that?
When I talk to kids in school, I have a PowerPoint presentation, and I talk to them about rejection letters, and then I ask them to guess how many I got. And then I put the number up on the screen, and it's 473, and the room just kind of goes wild. And I always say the same thing to them. What if I'd stopped at 472? I wouldn't be standing here talking to you. I wouldn't get to do this work that I love to do. And when I think, why did I keep on going? It was because I couldn't make myself talented, but I could make myself do the work. And I could make myself be relentless about putting the work out in the world.
Is there anything that makes you critical of yourself, in your writing process? And how do you push that voice away? And what do you do when you're being really self-critical?
Yeah, that critical voice. Hello, everybody out there who wants to write. It will never go away. It will always be a part of you. And you always doubt yourself. But if you can know yourself well enough to know when that voice is resting, that's the time to do the writing.
You've also said that thinking about the final result, like getting published, can sometimes get in the way of the process. Do you have any tips for young writers on how to enjoy the process more?
You have to work around all of your ego and kind of get out of your own way. And so the better you know yourself, and the more that you do this, the more that you will stop thinking about what you need and more think about what the story needs.
Jumping in a little bit more specifically to some of your books, in your first novel, Because of Winn-Dixie, Opal takes a really big chance when she takes in the dog Winn-Dixie instead of letting him go to the pound. When was a time in your life when you took a chance and it led to something wonderful?
When I took a chance was when I sat down and started to write the story of Opal and Winn-Dixie, because prior to that, I had never tried writing a book for kids. I had been writing short stories for adults. I took the chance of trying to write a book for kids, and it was Opal and Winn-Dixie. So yeah, just like Opal took a chance with Winn-Dixie, I took a chance with writing a book for kids, and it changed my life.
That's really great. Throughout all of your books, you've written really rich and interesting characters, and I was wondering which of your characters that you've written so far is the most similar to you and which is the most different.
Who's the most like me? Very easy, Raimi and Raimi Nightingale. Shy, terrified, always paying attention to everything, always hopeful that things would work out. Who's the least like me? Beverly Topinski, who is brave and fearless and just steps in to do the really hard thing. And that's another wonderful thing about writing, is that you can become those characters.
When you're writing about characters that are very different from yourself, do you learn from them? And I'd love if you could go in a little bit more depth about that whole process.
I absolutely learn from them. You write these characters and you realize that you too can be brave, or that you too can be fierce. And so, yeah, absolutely, I learn from them.
I know we touched a little bit about this earlier, but I was wondering if there's any more advice you have for a kid who wants to be an author.
Read, write, rewrite, keep a notebook. And here's my last piece of advice. Don't give up. The race goes to the person who persists.
We talk a lot about how you always respond to kids who write you letters. What would you write to yourself if you could write your childhood self a letter?
I would tell myself not to worry so much. I would tell myself that things will be okay. They'll work out much better than you think that they will. And I would tell myself, those friendships that you have, they will sustain you for the rest of your life.
Awesome. And now for our very important final question. What makes you, Kate DiCamillo, a rebel girl?
I guess it is this: believing in the power of being yourself in the world, and going out into the world and greeting everybody else joyfully with your full self.
Thank you so much for talking with us today, Kate. It's been so amazing getting to know the person behind so many of our favorite books, and we can't wait to see what you'll write next.
Oh, Avery, hey, thanks for the fantastic questions. For everybody who's listening, go and thank your teacher or your librarian or your parent who reads to you at night. You're fortunate if you have that.
That's really sweet. And thank you for watching, Rebels. Catch you next time and stay Rebel.